Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back with another Warzone video. It's a loadout video, actually. I'm going to give you guys the 5 best ARs to use on the new season of Warzone, Season 5. Now, before we get into all of that, I do want to say I am using 3 different websites, 3 different sources to get you guys these loadouts. And I'm going to be throwing in some of my own personal experience, what I like to change in the loadouts and the classes, whatever you want to call them. The 3 websites that I'm using are sim.gg, truegamedata.com, and then warzoneloadouts.gg. So with all that being said, let's get into the first class. So the very first class is going to be the AS44. Remember, guys, I'm getting these loadouts from sim.gg. These are the top meta loadouts that they have. They have a whole list, a whole list of the top guns, the most viable guns to use this season. I'm using True Game Data and Warzone Loadouts.games. My bad, little correction right there. Warzone Loadouts.games to kind of cross-reference everything. It is a new season, so you want to make sure that all the data is still accurate. You have to give some time to these guys because it takes a little bit to update everything after the in-game update. You know, a lot of guns get changed, so you got to come in and, you know, change all the variables, all the numbers, and all that type of stuff, you know. So for the very first gun, the AS44, we're looking at the recoil booster, the 615 millimeter barrel slate reflector. You can always change this for the 3 to 6 times if you're on Caldera or something like that. The Zac 12A for the stock Carver foregrip, the 50 rounds for the magazine, subsonic for the ammunition. You can put subsonic if you really care about your mini mag pings, but if you don't, which I personally don't, I always just put it on lengthened. Some people might put on hollow point, not hollow point, yeah, actually hollow point, because you get a little bit of extra limb damage if you aren't too good at holding your aim at center chest or maybe the head or something like that. You hit a little bit of limbs. If you notice that, you know, put it on hollow point. So it's all good. But for the rear grip, we're going tape gripped, and then for the perks, you're gonna put gung ho, and for the last perk, it's gonna be on hand, just so you don't have to use your last third perk slot over here on amped. You can put like combat scout or tracker, which are also good options. Now that is that's the sniper support build that you want for this gun. There is also a close range build and a long range build that you want. So for the close range build, what we're going to be changing is the barrel. You're going to want to change it to the last barrel, which is the Empress. I don't have it unlocked. It's all good. If you don't have that barrel like me, the first barrel is always good until you get the last barrel. Now for the stock, you are going to want to change this to the custom for close range build. Keep the slate reflector, obviously. And then the last thing, again, subsonic. This subsonic might be a little bit more important with close range gunfights. So if you really want to, I wouldn't fault you for putting on subsonic, but personally, I like to keep it on lengthened. And then for the perk, you can keep that on gung ho, or you can change it to sleight of hand. Now for the long range build for all you Caldera demons out there, it's going to be the MX silencer. You're going to obviously want to change the slate reflector. It's probably going to be the 3 to 6 times, which is the best long range scope for any AR right now. Vanguard guns anyways. Then the stock, we're going to go back to the 12A. Perk 1, sleight of hand. Perk 2, fully loaded. And then for the rear grip, you're going to want to go hatched grip because it's going to give you more recoil control and flinch resistance, which is obviously what you're going to need instead of tape grip, which is more for the close range gunfights, movement speed, and all that. And for the last thing for our long range setup for the AS44, you are going to want the M1941 hand stop. I don't have it unlocked yet, but we will. So if you don't have the hand stop, the Carver foregrip is also still pretty good. Now we take a look at truegamedata.com. This is one of the sites that's going to be in the description. If we look at the orange is going to be the AS44 with the sniper support class that I gave to you guys. It is actually the best. It has the highest TTK out of all the guns. Obviously it has a drop off at around, what is that, 27.1 meters. So you have to be really mindful of that, especially if you're playing on places like Caldera. Fortune's Keep has a little bit of a distance too. Rebirth, you can get away with not really knowing, but if you really want to be as efficient as possible, you want to take into account that the AS44 does have a drop off at 27.1 meters. But even then, it still has a way better TTK than most of the guns up here, which includes like the Automaton, Cooper, Grau, KG, Kilo. We can also look at sims.gg. We got the AS44, Volk, Nikita, Cooper, and Kilo on this one over here. So the AS44 is going to be in orange right over here. So that means at 17 meters, 29 meters, right? See, 2 meter difference. This is why we have 2 websites, 2 meter difference. It's about 30 meters where the drop off is. But at 29 meters, you have a 684 millisecond TTK. So you're basically blowing every other AR out of the water, except for the Volk, maybe except for maybe the Volk. But even then, the Volk has like a crazy drop off at 30 meters compared to like the AS, even though it's So great. All right, the next gun we're gonna be looking at is the Volk. This is gonna be the sniper support setup. It's gonna be the recoil booster, the 428mm barrel, slate reflector, the Reisdorf 22V adjustable, which is the last stock, strife angled for the underbarrel, 45 rounds for the magazine, 7.62 Gorenko, subsonic for the ammunition, but again, I usually like to put mine at lengthened. And then rear grip, groove grip, perk perfectionist, and on hand for perk 2 again, so you don't have to use amped on your third perk slot in your loadout. Now, if you guys do want a little bit more of aggressive class setup for this gun, you're gonna want the recoil booster, same barrel, slate reflector, of course, same stock. Now for the underbarrel, we're gonna want the Mark 6 skeletal. We're gonna change the groove grip to tape grip, and the magazine, ammunition, perk 1 and perk 2 are gonna stay the same. Now for the long range setup, we're gonna want the MX silencer, which is basically the monolithic at this point. Of course, we're gonna want the same barrel. For the optic, we're gonna change this one a little bit more long range, so we can use either the 3 to 6 times or the, what is it, the 2.5? Yeah, the G16 2.5, but I prefer the 3 to 6 times. For the barrel, we're going to be looking at the S12 VPS. Now for the rear grip, we're going to be looking at the groove grip. It's going to give us a little bit more recoil control for those long engagements. And then the only thing we're going to be changing is fully loaded for perk 2. All right, so next is going to be the Nikita. First things first, MX silencer, of course. If you do want a little more power and you think that you can control the recoil for this gun, I would recommend using the recoil boost. It's actually what I use. Then when we go to the barrel, we're going to be using the 5.46 sniper, plate reflector for the optic, Zac padded for the stock, perfectionist for perk 1, perk 2 on hand, tape gripped, the Sakura 60 rounds, which is the last one, and then lengthened, of course. And then the stripe angled for the underbarrel. Now when we're looking at the long range, we're going to be looking at changing the mercury silencer or the recoil booster, whichever you decide to use, to the MX silencer. I had a little mix up right there before. The last one should be the mercury silencer, but I don't have it unlocked, so I had the MX silencer before that. But other than that, MX silencer for the long range. Then for the barrel, we're looking at the Empress 613 BFA. For the optic, we want something a little bit longer. So again, we can either use the G16 2.5X or all the way at the bottom if you have it unlocked. Somewhere in the middle, actually, the SVT 40 3 to 6 times, right? Now for the stock is going to be the Empress notch. Then for the underbarrel, we're going to leave it at strife angled. Magazine is going to stay the same. Ammunition lengthened, unless you like something else like hollow points or incendiaries. But this is a long range build, so you definitely want lengthened. And then for rear grip, we're going to be using the polymer grip for our added accuracy. A little mix up right there. And then perk 1 and perk 2 are going to stay the same. And then perk 1 is perfectionist, and perk 2 for all our long range builds, you're gonna want fully loaded. And if we take a look back at our charts over here, we're going to see on sim.gg that the Nikita has a right here 693 millisecond TTK at around below 30 meters. And if we look at true game data for the Nikita, it's going to be this dark greenish one, which we're looking at about the same thing. It does say that the TTK is a little bit longer, and then the drop off is going to be actually a little bit farther out, a little bit what is this, 33 meters compared to our like 29 meters. Oh no, the drop off on both sites are exactly the same. So 33 meters is your drop off point for this gun, and then after 33 meters, we're looking at about 819 milliseconds TTK, and then over here it's gonna be 80, a little bit less. Looks like 850. I can't 870 milliseconds on true game data. All right, for our next gun, we're gonna be looking at the Cooper carbine. This is gonna be the sniper support. So for the very first attachment, which is the muzzle, we're gonna be looking at the MX silencer, which is gonna be pretty standard for most like mid to long range guns, ARs anyways. Then for the barrel, 22-inch custom. For the optic, if you want mid range, it's gonna be the G16 2.5, or a little bit longer range is a 3 to 6 times. I don't think you really need the 3 to 6 times on the Cooper. You might actually be able to get away with using the slate reflector because you can use it at such close range, and it has such a high fire rate for a sniper build anyways. If you are going to want a longer range, definitely the 2.5 or the 3 to 6 times scope if you really need it. I don't think you are going to need it, but each their own preference. Obviously make sure you guys, change some things up. Not everything is perfect. This is why I love Vanguard guns so much, because there's so many attachments that you can kind of, mix and match and kind of, get your own build out of it, instead of the Modern Warfare and the Cold War guns that you had 5 attachments that everybody used. You can really kind of mess around with everything around here. So for the stock, we're looking at the Cooper custom padded for perk 1, tight grip, for perk 2, fully loaded. Also for the perk 1, you can use Vital. I use Vital for a little bit if you want to keep that on. For rear grip, or I'm on the pine tar grip. If you want, you can use the polymer grip. I know a lot of people use that too. I think that's what's meta on the website right now, the polymer grip, but I prefer the pine tar. And then for the magazine, 60 round drums, lengthened, of course. Underbarrel hand stop is what I'm using. You can also use the Carver foregrip if you don't have that unlocked. I'm using the hand stop. I prefer the hand stop over the Carver. All right, so next we're looking at the sniper support build. Is going to be the Mercury silencer for this. For the barrel, it's still going to be the 22-inch custom, 22-inch Cooper custom. For the optic, this is a sniper support, so the 2.5 is still good. You can also use a slate reflector though. Like I said before, if you want something more close range, slate reflector is the right optic to go with. Slate reflector is right here. So for the stock, for the sniper support build, is going to be the ragdoll, perk 1 tight grip, perk 2 on hand, tape grip for rear grip. The magazine and ammunition are going to stay the same, unless you want to change to the compressed rounds for a little bit higher fire rate. But personally, I like to stay on lengthened. And then for the underbarrel, you can use the Carver foregrip. There's a sniper support, so this is what you want to use. You can also use the hand stop if you want, but for the sniper support, I prefer to use the Carver foregrip. Now for the very last AR that I'm going to give you guys in this video, it's going to be the KG M40. This was meta last season, and it's still pretty up there this season. It is a little bit stronger than the automatons. This is what you want to be using instead of the automaton, but the automaton is still good if you do want to use that. So first things first, for the long range setup is going to be the MX silencer, the 720mm shrouded for the barrel, of course, optic, long range, 3 to 6 times. If you want to use it 2 times, all right, cool, but 3 to 6 times is definitely better. For the stock, you want the padded, tight grip, and fully loaded. For the perks, polymer grip, you're going to want the 60 round drum, lengthened, and then the Mark 6 skeleton. So this is my loadout. If you want the meta loadout that's on the website, they are using the strife angled instead of my skeletal. Again, guys, try these loadouts out for yourself, and if you got to make little tweaks here and there, make sure to do that. Remember, Modern Warfare 2 is going to be a lot more in depth with the gunsmith system, so going in there and really changing these guns to really suit your playstyle is really important, especially now. Get used to it before Modern Warfare 2 or Warzone 2 comes out. All right, so that's the long range setup. For the sniper support, you're going to want the Mercury silencer, the 30-90mm rapid for the barrel. Is a big change right there. Slate reflector, obviously. For the optic, we're going to also, for the stock, we're going to want the last stock. Don't know how to pronounce that, so 36 SK. That one, gung ho, and then on hand for perk 1 and 2. Groove grip for the rear grip. You could also get away with using tape grip. Tape grip is also tape grip is one of those attachments that you can pretty much use on all of your guns and pretty much be good. Then for the magazine, you're gonna stay the same. Ammunition, it's a little bit more shorter range. You might want to use hollow point. You could also get away with using lengthened. Incendiary was a little bit popular in the beginning, but so we're gonna keep that at hollow point or subsonic. And then the strife angled for the last attachment on this gun. And I want to give you guys 2 honorable mentions. With season 4, we saw a lot of people start to use the kilo again, and in season 5, I do gotta say it's still not bad. It's usable. It's not something that you would take into a tournament, that if you were a pro or something, but it definitely is usable. It's one of the best Modern Warfare ARs, one of the best Modern Warfare ARs. We're gonna get into the next one right now, that is out right now. You can still use it in season 5, so if you guys want to use it, it's definitely viable. The fucking attachments are the monolithic, the Singard arms, 19.8 inch, VOK 3 times optic, 60 round mag, and then commando foregrip. You could also remove the optic. Put the 50 round on, and then here we go. And then put stippled grip tape. Put stippled grip tape and have a little bit faster kilo if you want to use it for like an SMG or a sniper support or something like that. And then for another Modern Warfare AR that's at the top of the list right now, it's going to be the Growl. A lot of people's favorite gun, a lot of people's favorite meta. It's going to be the monolithic suppressor, Tempest 26.4 inch barrel, the VOK 3 times for the optics, 60 rounds, and commando foregrip. Most of the people that you see using this on Rebirth, on Fortune's Keep, are probably going to take off the barrel, or not the barrel, the optic, and then do the same thing that I did with the kilo and just put on which one of these is it? This one right here, the XRK Void 2, is going to give you a little bit more ADS, aim down sight time, you know, speed that up a little bit. And then you can put this on the 50 round to again speed up your ADS just a tad instead of 60 round. All right guys, that's it for this video. That is 5 of the best ARs to use on season 5 of Warzone. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to sub if you haven't already. I am going to be going through the best SMGs, LMGs, snipers, all that, all the guns, all the categories I'm going to be going through, so make sure to hit that sub so you stay tuned. Also, before I go, I just want to put this back up there. This is going to be the stats, the charts for all of the guns that I gave you guys today. So a little bit more extra. I know the automaton's in here and everything. The SCG's in here. Also, if you want to take a picture of this, it has all the attachments that I use on each of the guns, right? The AS44 is up top. Okay. Yeah, so I'll leave you guys with that. Other than that, have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon, and I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night.